Have you ever been stuck asking God for direction? But the more you pray, the more confused you feel? What if I told you the problem isn't that God isn't speaking? It's that you've been taught to look for his will the wrong way. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to know God's will without overthinking, second guessing, or living in constant anxiety. Let's be honest. Most of us were taught this idea that God has one perfect hidden plan, and if we miss it, we ruin everything. So we start overthinking. Should I take this job? Is this the right relationship? What if I choose wrong? And suddenly, what should feel like faith starts to feel like pressure. You pray, but instead of peace, you feel stuck. You think more, but clarity never comes. And here's the truth most people don't realize. That cycle you're in, it's not discernment. That's anxiety disguised as spirituality. Because real discernment leads somewhere. Overthinking just loops. Here's the mistake that changes everything. You've been treating God's will like a hidden blueprint instead of a relationship. According to Scripture, God's will is not mainly about decoding a secret plan. It's about becoming the kind of person who can recognize what pleases him. That's why Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Notice that. It doesn't say, figure it out perfectly before you act. It says, be transformed, then you'll recognize it. And that changes everything. Because now God's will isn't something you chase, it's something you grow into. Discernment is not solving a hidden puzzle. It's becoming a person who can test and approve what is good through a renewed mind. Now here's the turning point that will set you free. God cares more about who you're becoming than whether you pick option A or option B. Let me say that again. God is not waiting to punish you for choosing the wrong job. He's forming you into someone who can walk with him in any job. That's why Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." Notice it doesn't say, figure everything out first. It says trust, walk, acknowledge him. Then he directs. And this is where most people get stuck. They want clarity before obedience. But God gives clarity through obedience. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, ask God, and it will be given." But then it warns about being double-minded. Why is that? Because overthinking splits you in two. Half of you trusts God, the other half tries to control everything. And that tension is what keeps you stuck. So how do you actually know God's will without overthinking? Here's the simple biblical path. Step 1. Check what God has already made clear. If something goes against Scripture, it's not God's will. That alone eliminates so much confusion, because God's will is always aligned with holiness, love, and truth. Step 2. Stop searching for the perfect option. If multiple choices are good and moral, you're free. Yes, free. God is not hiding the right answer from you. He's inviting you to walk in wisdom. Step 3. Ask for wisdom and then move. Pray, but don't just sit there waiting for a sign. Take the next faithful step, because clarity grows through movement. Step 4. Set a decision limit. Overthinking thrives in endless options. So decide this. what's good enough to move forward. You don't need perfect certainty, you need faithful action. Step 5. Look at the fruit, not the feeling. Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds." Peace doesn't mean instant clarity. It means your heart is steady while you walk forward. And over time, you'll see fruit. More love, more growth, more faith. That's how you confirm you're on the right path. You are not one wrong decision away from ruining your life. God is bigger than your choices. He can redirect you, guide you, redeem anything. You don't need perfect clarity. You just need a willing heart. So imagine this. Instead of waking up anxious, you wake up with peace. Instead of overanalyzing every step, you simply ask, what's the next faithful thing I can do today? And you do it. That's it. And suddenly, your life starts moving again. Not because you figured everything out, but because you finally trusted God enough to move forward. If this helped you, watch this next video right here. And if you want more content like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we're learning how to walk with God in a way that actually brings peace. I'm glad you're here.